and there was Calvin playing pool. And not long after that, I actually saw him at Lighthouse. We didn't say hi, but Cal, do you remember? To me, it's a legendary story. I don't know if you
Okay. All
remember.
right. Wow. Yeah.
Do
Well, if
you
I'm involved in it,
remember?
it must be.
I think it would be fair to say. I don't think it would be slanderous to say of Lighthouse circa 2007 that there weren't a tremendous number of black people there. Um,
What?
what?
What? We must have attended two different lighthouses.
Wait a second.
Wait. Are you about to tell the story I think you're about to tell?
Does it involve Cliff Johnson looking down from the stage?
It does.
Honestly,
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember all the details, but there was something going on. Was there some kind of event that night where people were supposed to come in like sportswear?
Okay, let me tell this story in a second.
Go on.
Because this is a legendary moment, and I never let Cliff live this down.
I just happened to be there.
Oh my gosh, that's classic. Okay, so Lighthouse at the time was really, hold on one sec. This is not going to be in the podcast, but it's recording. It's recording for posterity. So as the story goes, I was running late. So I went to Rochester College at the time, as Kent was saying, and I was heading to Lighthouse, and it was Represent Your College night. And so we're just getting this. Oh, that looks great. That's great. Okay. So
your girlfriend's smart sometimes.
Girlfriend is smart. So as the story goes, we were running late, and at the time, Lighthouse was like really super moody, and so they'd have fog machines, and they kept the lights really low and all this stuff. And it was Represent Your School night, so people went there wearing their school colors. Some of them, basically just kind of wearing their school colors. So we're there, and Tim's now the pastor of downtown Detroit, Woodside, which Cliff started. Cliff Johnson is a pastor of Lighthouse at the time, and so he's preaching, and he's doing a series called The 12, and it was about the 12 disciples.
Okay.
And the reason I remember is because I answered a question about the 12 disciples. So he's preaching, he's doing his thing, and most of the kids are going to school for like things like engineering and architecture and whatever else. None of them are going to school most of them are not going to school for biblical studies, which I was. And so he's talking about Thomas that night, and he says, blah blah blah. What was Thomas was known as, and everyone's like, Doubting Thomas. He goes, yeah, but he was known by something else. What was his name in the Bible? And nobody answered. And I said Didymus, and he's like, who said that? Now, because I got there late, I mean, Lighthouse was really popular and packed at the time, and so because I got there late, I was further back, and it was dark and it was moody. And it was Represent Your College night. And Tim looked, not Tim, geez. Cliff looks out into the darkness, into the abyss. And he's like, who said that? And I raise my hand, and he looks out and he goes, yeah, that's right. He's like, dude, did you paint your face? And the whole room, so the people around me are like, oh my God. This cannot end well. But this is amazing that I am here for this. And so I'm back there, and so people are like, oh no. And Cliff's wife sees Angela. She turns back and she can see me, right? And she's like, oh no. And
we're gonna get fired.
She's like, and Cliff is like very new here at this point.
Yeah.
And so she's like giving him the hand across the neck thing, like stop it, cut it off, and
he has no clue.
And he just keeps digging himself deeper. He's like, no, I don't understand. Like, I mean, it's Represent Your College night. What school did you go to? Why'd you paint your face? And so I stood up, and now I'm in the light. And he goes, oh. I am so well, everybody. This is my last night here. So if you remember anything about my time at Woodside, please don't let it be this. And he's like, I am so sorry, dude. And so the rest of the night, he's preaching and he's talking about mistakes and things like that. And he's like, we all make mistakes. Obviously, again, sorry, dude. And the funny thing is, afterwards, like right after the service was over, he didn't stop to talk to anybody. He made a beeline for me. And he comes up to me and he's like, I am so sorry, dude. I would never, I didn't even know. And the funny thing is, and this applies to the Jacob sessions. When I was in college, I had started this program called House of God where we got different ministers to talk about topics that they disagreed on. And I had invited Cliff to be on the next panel. And so I was actually I was always there at Woodside, but that night I wanted to go and introduce myself to him because he didn't know me yet. And so he comes up at the end, he's like, I'm so sorry, dude, I would never do that. I was like, you know what's even funnier? He's like, what? I said, I'm Calvin Moore from Rochester College. And he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And we ended up going for coffee for the next day, and he was like, dude, you won't even believe it. Like, I called one of my best friends, one of my best friends from this trip that we went on, we just kind of hit it off, and he happened to be a black guy, and I called him that night, and I was like, dude, he's like, I called him last night. I was like, dude, did I mess up? He's like, yeah, you messed up, dude. You messed up. But it was a pretty epic
That's
story.
Hilarious.
Epic story, yeah. But,
Clearly an innocent mistake. But
innocent
hilarious.
mistake, but Cliff Johnson is a racist.
No, I think it's important, even though this isn't for the podcast, I think it's important that Jen and Kara know. Cliff Johnson is one of the great, decent people in the history of that I've known.
Yes.
So let's not spread any rumors.
But it was, I think they got from the story that they know he's a decent guy.
Yes. Yeah.
But
we
pretty
get that.
darn funny.
Yes.
Pretty darn funny. I took no offense. I understood. I'm kind of I'm on the darker side of black, and in the darkness, I'm kind of hard to see. So it was pretty funny. But I told the story to some people at Rochester, and they're like, Calvin, you know that was racism, right? I was like, dude, you just give it up.
You need to be more offended.
Yeah. So anyhow. Yeah, that's not going to be on the podcast, but it was a great story, and I'm glad you were there for that, Kent. That was a.
I'm actually I find it a little heartwarming and encouraging that I mentioned I didn't have to give you very much information, and you knew immediately what I was talking about.
I will never ever forget that episode. That is, and maybe one day I will actually tell that on the actual podcast.
But that indicates to me that there weren't too many quasi-racist incidents at Lighthouse. So, I mean, that's good.
There weren't. It was kind of strange though, because like you said, there weren't a lot of black people there at the time, and the next few weeks, it's going to be my impression of white people here, but the next few weeks, I'd show up, and again, there were like maybe 2 or 3 of us at the time, and there was like maybe 500 people in the room, and people were like, "There he is." Oh, there's the guy that Cliff said painted his face.
I do like your impression. That was pretty good. That sounded like my dad.
Well, there he is, honey. The face painter. So funny. Okay. So anyway, we know. So let's try to get this first one banged out here in about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Boom.
We're going to talk about this Supergirl episode. Well, we won't talk about the episode, but we'll talk about the delayed gratification. So I'll explain kind of what happened. But first up, who's got the stories to share for this episode?
Kent, I think.
Okay, so.
Okay.
All right. Ken, you want to go first?
Edit that out. Sure. Let me say congratulations or hats off to Kevin. What it looks like is Kevin Thweisme of Bumberwiz, Oregon. Now, it's important to note
Bumberwiz?
Bumberwiz.
This can only end well.
No, it's important to note that Bumberwiz is not the actual name of the town, but it shows how much I care where it actually took place and what I think.
Okay, all right. So it's not the name of the real town.
Right.
But I would love for a town to be called Bumberwiz.
That would be great. Kevin was attempting, successfully, up to a point, to make something called hash oil in his garage. And I don't know what hash oil is, and I wasn't interested enough in Kevin's story to research it, because Kevin is, as will soon become apparent, an idiot. However, Kevin's experiment in, I'm going to assume from the name, making drugs went poorly, and the mixture exploded.
Mm.
So he was trying to break bad. He was breaking bad in his garage.
He was Kevin's attempt to break bad went poorly. So here's where I congratulate Kevin. Kevin is suing the importers and distributors of the butane oil he purchased as part of the process, as well as the Shell Mini Mart where he purchased it, because at no point in the purchase process did anyone inform this 28-year-old man that butane is flammable.
Wow.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Wow.
Oh wow!
Okay.
So the little flame on the package is not enough, apparently.
Not enough.
The picture, it's not even in words. You don't even have to read to know this is flammable.
Probably don't want to light it.
When your logo is fire.
Yes.
So here's the funny thing about that. That reminds me of an episode of an old show called In Living Color. Some of you may remember it. Jim Carrey was on the show. Damon Wayans, all them, right? It was basically the
Wayans
black
brothers,
answer. Yeah, it was the black answer to Saturday Night Live at the time when it first premiered. But there's an episode where Jamie Foxx is playing Wile E. Coyote, and and he is suing the Acme Corporation because of all the stuff that he keeps buying that goes wrong on him when he's trying to catch the Roadrunner.
It was only about a week
awesome.
ago.
I
Only about a
wanna
week
see
ago,
that
I saw
episode.
online. I saw somebody said something online. I don't remember where I saw it, but it said, Wile E. Coyote shows a surprising amount of brand loyalty.
And dedication. I mean, he just keeps getting blown up and he keeps chasing that bird. I'm just saying.
Yep.
That's funny. That's hilarious. So that's what that reminds me of. So yeah, hats off to this kid from Bumberwiz.
Yes.
Moron.
Oh, yes.
Wow. All right, so my hats off is I would like to give hats off to whoever had absolutely no life that took the time to figure out that Beyonce's Single Ladies could be put to virtually any tune,
Yes.
particularly DuckTales. So, tribute to our childhood. And also
Life
apparently
is like a hurricane
Here in
Duckburg.
Raises aeroplane.
It's a duck world.
Might solve a mystery.
But go on with your story, Jen.
DuckTales. Woo. Man, see, if the podcasting doesn't work out for us, I say, singing quartet is definitely
Right.
an option.
There you go.
But we got to get all the lyrics right because some people were off there.
Oh.
Some people can't.
Right?
Ken butchered that.
Oh, and apparently I could also go to Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I can go to the Mario Brothers theme song. Anyway, this is happening. This is That's crazy. Wow.
We can do this as long as we want. Nobody's
No,
listening.
right?
Let's have a whole musical episode of the podcast and sing
I
everything
think
we say.
we should do like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode where
Yeah.
everything's just a musical.
That's
Or we
so
should do an
good.
entire podcast in silence. I believe they got an Emmy award for that.
Yep. That episode was called Hush. There was no dialogue. That format does not translate well to podcasting.
Yeah, actually.
We should call that episode Hush.
Let me ask you. Let me
Hush
just
2.
ask you this, because this occurred to me, because I did see the Beyonce. I did see Single Ladies set to DuckTales, and I watched it. And then I got curious and went back and watched the original, and I realized this is now 6 years late. But what was Kanye talking about? That video's all right. I just it doesn't look like it has any budget. They're just standing there dancing. I mean,
Are you questioning Kanye West taking away the mic from Taylor Swift and saying that she had the best video of all time?
I don't
All
know.
time, Ken.
All time. I don't
Yeah.
know if we've been over this, but I am an improbably fervent Taylor Swift fan.
You don't know nothing about Queen Bee. 'Cause Queen Bee can dance to DuckTales.
Apparently.
What can Taylor Swift dance to?
I love
Accidentally.
okay,
Let's try to set Taylor Swift to
That-
DuckTales.
as
See how
far
that
as-
works out.
as far as Beyonce goes, though, whoever added the quack towards the end, brilliant. That's part of the video. Man. No, but anyhow, so
Anyhow.
Yep.
they
Yeah, that
apparently
was great.
have the time that I don't. And thank you. I was entertained because they spent that time.
No, hats off to them.
Yes.
Hats off.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off.
So, all right. So this week we're going to be talking about Supergirl and delayed gratification. So I don't know, Kara, if you were able to watch the episode, but I know Kent was able to watch the episode, and I was able to watch the episode. Here's the deal. Supergirl premieres in October on
November.
in November. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, it premieres in November on CBS. As of the recording of this podcast, we are at the end of May, about to head into June.
Yeah.
So, apparently the episode leaked on the internet and has been downloaded God knows how many times at this point. By the time I may or may not have downloaded it, it had been downloaded well over 200,000 times.
Let me say, and I don't know this for sure. I don't want to be conspiratorial about it, but when something quote unquote leaks in full 1080p quality, I'm not sure it was an accident.
Yeah, that's a whole other question. But yeah,
There's that theory.
yeah, there's the question of that being such a big, huge leak. Yeah, it's full HD quality, and you had two different versions of it leaked.
Right.
Like a 720p
All at
and
the
a
same
1080p.
time.
And so it's if it isn't leaked by the studio on purpose, that is a massive breach. But either way, it was released, and people are saying that it's not from the studio because it's too far ahead. Many times, studios will release an episode in advance of the actual television premiere to kind of boost people talking about it. But the fact of the matter is, this is so far in advance. It's so far in advance. It's not to be believed that it was the studio. And so
Maybe that's their cover.
yeah, maybe that's their cover. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that. But the fact of the matter is, it has been released. It has been downloaded probably over 500,000 times at this point, and it has been watched by many, many people. And I watched it, and Jen and I watched it, and we thought it was fantastic. Kent,
Yes,
I think we told you
very
about it,
good.
and you watched it, and it was fantastic. And it's kind of cool, Kara, because you should watch it because the main character's name is
It's Kara.
it's Kara, actually. It's Kara. So
I go with Kara.
you go with Kara. There's actually a joke about that
Kara,
in the
Kara,
episode.
tomatoes. Same.
So in Smallville, she's Kara.
Yeah, in the show she's Kara, and her boss keeps calling her Kara, and she's like, it's Kara.
Aww.
I
But-
want to.
Change it to Kara.
I think it's important to jump in here and say something may have gotten lost in translation in my text when you said that you thought that I said it was fantastic. I said that it was a TV show and that it was definitely had the right aspect ratios and the focus was competent, but I don't think it was a very good episode of TV.
Okay, so Ken said it's fantastic.
Yep.
Just edit out what you said.
It feels like there were union craftsmen making the thing.
I feel like sometimes I have to translate for Kent. This
Okay.
is as good as we're gonna get from Kent on I Loved It.
And the lead actress, Melissa Benoist, is conventionally attractive. Hats off to her.
Quit
But,
objectifying women. Kent.
Hey, calling it like I see it. And and I have let me admit it. I will come clean right here on the podcast. I have seen every episode of Glee. And Melissa Benoist.
You can't take it back now, Kent. It's
What?
not
We're learning so
girl.
much about you.
Wow.
She did two.
Kent,
She
I'm gonna
did two
I'm gonna need your man card right now.
Yeah. The thing with Glee is it got to the point that I know it's stupid. It's real stupid. But when it comes to TV, I'm a completist. I don't give up on things because I always feel it's about to be canceled, and it's like, oh well, it's so close. Well, that happened with Glee for 3 years. But
Yeah, they
I
just
watched
kept
every
doing the
episode.
same episode like over and over.
A lot.
Saying.
A lot. So
Yeah.
anyway, long story short, too late. She's pretty, and now she's Supergirl, and she's the best thing about the show. The second best thing about the show, I guess, would be the girl who left another series called Grey's Anatomy, which I've seen every episode. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking.
He looks great in this show, by the way.
So Kent is single and sensitive, ladies. He likes all the shows. that
He'll
she
watch
will
TV
like.
with you,
He
ladies.
will
Great.
watch TV
You
with
won't
you.
have to fight him for
Matter
the
of fact,
remote.
he might force you to watch those shows.
Grey's Anatomy, another show I realize is
Like,
dumb.
let's see, Grey's Anatomy.
I love
Glee,
Grey's Anatomy,
I'm
too.
pretty sure you like Scandal.
I do.
Do you watch How to Catch a Murderer or
You know
anything like
what?
that, or
You know
How to
what?
Get Away with Murder.
How to Get Away with Murder? I don't know. See, because I'm a man, right?
Yeah. That's
No,
a
I
great
started
show.
Please.
I started that show, and I gave up. That's
Yes,
one of
it's
the rare
okay.
shows I gave up on.
Really? Oh,
I gave
I thought
up.
it was so good.
I got about 6 episodes in, and it's like none of these. I don't like any of these characters. All of these characters are terrible people. I'm
Yeah,
out.
well, they're all murderers.
Yeah, nobody here said
Right.
anything about revenge, though, which is the whole thing. Man,
Never saw an episode.
man, that show is legit. That show's legit. Anyhow, but okay, so
And now, where did your man card go?
whatever. Anyhow,
You're just dishing it out, so I had to
look,
give you
okay,
some.
don't give it.
All right.
Don't give it back.
All right, all right.
We're gonna have an
all right.
argument. We're gonna have an argument after
Uh-oh.
this podcast.
Oh,
everybody.
uh-oh,
We're gonna have an
uh-oh.
argument after this.
I'm
podcast.
not afraid, everybody.
Jen may not
I'm
be
sorry.
on
I mean,
the next
I am
podcast.
afraid.
Jen may
Uh-huh.
not be on the next episode. All
I
right.
laugh.
You're listening to the Jacob
Here.
Sessions with
What-
Kara, Kent, and Cal.
What's that scripture? It says that a virtuous woman, she laughs in the face of what?
I don't know.
Of fear?
I don't know.
What is that
I
scripture?
don't believe
I'm just saying.
That's not in the
Ha!
Bible at
That doesn't
all.
sound like the Bible.
You're totally making that up.
No, but there's something about that. What is that?
Nowhere in the
Seuss.
Bible. So, sorry, people. We got a heretic on board, and that's another reason she won't be here
Whatever.
next week. But, okay, so we got downloaded a bunch of times, right? And
Yeah.
Kent loved it. We loved it.
Sure.
And, and
And
as it goes, I was online. I was just kind of scouring the internet, looking for people's opinions and thoughts on it. And some people are like, "Oh, it's amazing," and some people are kind of more like Kent. Yeah, yeah, it's all right. It's okay. It's a good start for a pilot, but it's not like amazing or blowing the roof off of anything. But then there was this kind of third group of people who refused to watch it, refused to review it, and they
Kara.
they kind of took this moral high road and said, you know what? We are true fans. That was one of the things, the constant refrain I saw. We're true fans, and we are going to delay gratification because we support, the actors and the Actors Guild, and we don't want to ruin it for ourselves.
kind
And
of a more righteous kind
yeah, it
of.
was just kind of like this righteous indignation,
Yeah.
and that's all good and well. But my thought is like, the people who are watching it and the people who are reviewing it also support the show. They're actually true fans. They're really super excited, and they're kind of getting the buzz out there, whether the studio leaked it or not. People are actually loving it for the most part. Now, the question is that comes out of it for me is because Jen and I got done watching this, right? And we were like, no, now we have to, because we thought it was great. And so our reaction was, man, now we have to wait until,
Like, we just did this to ourselves.
we thought we were waiting until October, and apparently you're telling us we have to wait till November,
Ugh.
Kent.
So
So
As we sit here on May 31st,
on May
Is
31st.
is the difference between October and November really a deal breaker for you?
Yeah.
I get
Yeah,
that
it is.
November is further away than October, but they're both, I mean, both of those qualify as, oh, that's a problem for future Kent.
I'm just thinking a November season start
It's
is a
late.
late start.
It is. They will probably do like 4 and then break for Christmas. It's I would guess starting in November.
That's
Immediately.
gonna be so sad.
So I question whether we're going to get 22 full episodes out of it. But the whole deal
Yeah.
is, okay, so we got done, whether it's November or December or October or whatever, we got done watching it, and our thought was, oh my gosh, now we have to wait forever. And here's the thing about
we
it.
did it to ourselves.
Right, the people who are the true fans, or the quote-unquote the true fans, don't have to deal with the, oh no, now I have to wait until October to watch the next episode. Whereas we have to now. And we did it to
But
ourselves.
they have to wait to watch the first one.
They have to watch it, but they are choosing to delay gratification, and that's what I want to kind of talk about out of this is we live in this kind of instant culture where, hey, you know what? The episode of Supergirl leaked, so you can download it and you can watch it, or you can instead of popping popcorn on the stove like people used to do, you can now pop popcorn in the microwave, or you want
That
to
takes about the same amount of time.
either way, you want to watch a television show instead of having to travel across the United States and go to an event live. You can actually have it instantly beamed into your home. You can download an episode of a television show immediately after it airs or the next day after it airs, rather than have to get up out of your bed, walk to Meijer.
We don't have to cook. We can go to a drive-thru.
Yeah, we can go.
Do you walk to Meijer?
Yeah, well, if you're close enough, right? There's this. There used to be a, hey, you have to get up and go do this. For instance, okay, so we used to have to on Friday nights. The thing to do when I lived at Rochester College was we would all pile into a car. We would all drive to Blockbuster Video. We would spend like an hour in Blockbuster Video laughing at all of the boxes for sequels of movies we never knew had originals. Like, oh my gosh, The Dentist 2. The dentist is killing people again. I'm like, who's still going to this dentist? But either way, that was kind of a thing, right? And so you would go, you would choose a movie together, and then you would go back and you would watch this movie together in community, and that was cool. But now it's this instant. Everything's on Netflix. It's right there. Even our television seasons are instant on Netflix. You get the whole. We just watched Daredevil. You get the whole season. House of Cards. You get the whole season. You can't wait.
Well, even there's like the DVRs and stuff, so you don't have to watch commercials. You don't. I mean, everything is. We live in a very instant world.
Yeah. So we live in this instant world. Can we, what does that say about patience? What does that say about, how do we have delayed gratification in an instant gratification world?
Well, and what is the merit to it, I guess, too? Like, is delayed gratification something that's overly rated or something of the past? Where is that at now?
Yeah, so what do you guys think? I mean, I want to kind of get a conversation going around this idea of delayed gratification in an instant gratification world.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll say, just as far as I guess it's kind of a confession. Because I did take the moral high road when you first posted the Supergirl link. I hadn't really heard about it. I wasn't super psyched about it. But my first instinct was to be like, well, that's really lame. It's not time for it to come out yet. I want to watch it. If I'm going to watch it, I want to watch it when the producers intended for me to watch it. And so that was kind of my attitude. I feel like the anticipation of something that you really love is part of the experience that makes it great. But I mean, it's kind of what you guys are experiencing now. Having watched it and loved it, you are having that anticipation, maybe even more so because you know that you do like it. But I have to confess that
feel this coming.
Oh yeah, okay. That my grandma just got me into Vampire Diaries, and I watched all 5 seasons of Vampire Diaries in like 2 weeks. I was playing it on my tablet. I was playing it on my TV. I had it on my computer. It was with me all the time. I am addicted to Ian Somerhalder like vampires are addicted to blood. It is the best show ever. And today, when it's up to season 5 on Netflix, season 6 just ended, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna wait till October when they come out on Netflix. But I was like scouring the internet for like, is there a place I can like download this sooner? Is there a way? And I found like I can buy it on Amazon Prime and stream it for $30. And I was like, Todd, can I get this for $30? He's like, really? I mean, you can get it for free if you wait like a couple months. But anyway, I felt like I needed to confess that.
You wait till the end of this podcast, and I can tell you exactly where to do that.
Really, for free?
Oh my gosh, Kara! Seriously, everything on the internet is free at this point.
I don't know.
Everything is internet. Everything is free.
I don't know. I have to think about it. I have to pray about it. I don't know.
I'm loving it. I'm loving you, Kara. This is fantastic.
I'm gonna pray about whether I should download Vampire Diaries season 6 for free.
Anything I can record with a DVR I'm going to be able to just download it.
Okay, okay.
My conscience is clear.
We'll think about that.
You know it's already been on TV for free,
I
right?
do, but okay, guys.
So
I'm
Okay.
just. It's not the same thing as like getting a sneak preview of something. I'm just saying like it is like in the past if you missed your favorite show you'd wait for like a rerun on TV and maybe like record it if you're not going to be home or something.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, when VCRs first came out, television like stations and like CBS and NBC and ABC, they were up in arms about VCRs.
They went
because
crazy.
of the fact that you could record television shows.
Yeah.
Now they have DVR. They're getting money from the DVR, so something's being
Right.
paid into
Yeah,
the
they just were
system.
like, we need a cutback of this. That's
Right.
it.
But
I
even
know.
still, like after this is all done, when we record this is generally Sunday nights, and Kent goes to a Game of Thrones group where they watch a show, and they're kind of displaced viewers because they wait for him to get there in case we go over, and he can watch Game of Thrones and basically, I guess, kind of catch up to when it is live. If you're starting a little bit.
Well, it's on.
But-
I mean, we usually start at 9:30 and it's on at 9. That's not as much as some people delay.
Okay. So,
but yeah.
But here's the thing. Like they talk about the most popular shows, and some of the things that they include are one, displaced viewers from DVR, and downloads from torrent sites. So Game of Thrones is way more popular than some people think. It's not just based on when people watch it on television anymore. It's based on when they DVR it and how much it is
They
illegally
still,
downloaded.
Yeah, they still track all that.
It's kind of crazy, and so that makes it even more popular. And they're finding ways to cater to and advertise to people who are illegally downloading the show, which is really
Now,
kind
Game of Thrones. Now you can do that in. I was about to date myself and say Family Ties. Obviously, no new episodes of Family Ties have been made for 25 years.
I
But
wish.
that would be
Where's
great.
Michael Keaton when you need him?
Well,
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton's not winning Oscars. Alex Keaton is presumably.
I'm sorry, I said Michael Keaton, didn't I?
Yes.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
Wow.
Right.
This got dark in a hurry. So we were talking about Family Ties like 6 seconds ago. Yeah, so let me think of a TV show. Okay, you can no, Malcolm in the Middle's done too. Think of a
with the
TV
guy
show.
from Breaking Bad, isn't he? Wasn't he the dad?
It was. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was. That was
he was
like
the
10
dad.
years ago. All right, so let's say Breaking Bad or whatever. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, what have you. You can creatively advertise in shows like that where you can have in an episode of Better Call Saul this past season, Saul was aggressively pushing cups of Jell-O on nursing home residents, and so I don't know if there were any consideration from that for Jell-O, but so there are ways to creatively advertise these days.
Well, they're changing the ways they advertise too. Like if you watch Hulu, they're customizing. Like it's
Yes.
the same ad over and over. It gets it like in your brain.
That is hard. Yeah, and that's with Hulu outside the show. There are people who work for networks and for shows individually that look for advertising opportunities within the show. Like what can we have characters wearing? What can we have them drinking?
Right.
And there will often be product placement, and the network that is, or maybe they're all doing it now, but the network that was most notorious for this was the CW for years, because I have not seen, in keeping with the theme of this episode, I've not seen every episode of Smallville, but I did see every episode of the last 7 seasons, and there would be frequent gratuitous,
I love that. That's so funny.
loving, lingering shots of the Toyota logo whenever Clark would arrive anywhere in his improbably clean red pickup truck. And that would just and so it's like the door would open, and the door would open right so that the word tundra is framed up perfectly, you know.
Well, wait until Kara's watching Vampire Diaries.
That's right.
You think it's gratuitous in Smallville. In Vampire
So much.
Diaries, there's a point where they're like, maybe you'd like these muffins baked from, and
Oh.
it's like,
Let me look it up on my AT&T smartphone.
It's a commercial within the television
Yes.
show that's so blatant.
And that's where they make all their money.
That's where they're making.
Yeah.
But either
Well,
way,
that's Chuck. Chuck was almost canceled, but then Subway sponsored them, so like they're eating Subway sandwiches in every episode of Chuck.
Right.
Okay. On another note too, have you guys heard? And I mean, I'm not reading the article right now or any of that, but I actually heard it at some point more recently that actually HBO was cracking down, because HBO is one of the few, sites where they really crack down more on the freeness of their shows, right?
Yeah.
So they don't want you to share your password to log in, all of that stuff, because people were doing that. And apparently people have like HBO viewing parties, and this is like under the radar, and they were like cracking down on like this, just these different ways that people were getting creative about viewing their shows, right?
Well,
Because
HBO
they-
HBO is a tastemaker, and they're an
Yeah.
important part of Time Warner. But Time Warner is not such a big company that they can mandate when you have friends over.
No, I know, but there was
No.
there was some stirring.
or are they? I believe you're going to a Time Warner party right after this
Oh.
podcast.
Indeed, yes. I am
And
going.
there was like actually, I heard that there was like HBO giving out different kinds of warnings or fines or something for these creative ways that people were watching their shows, and I just thought, oh my goodness, in today's world when everything's on the internet, this is just crazy,
I don't want to live in a world where HBO can find me.
right? I think it was like suspending certain memberships. or
Okay,
something.
that may be true.
Kent, you're already in that world. You're in that world. I'm so worried about even saying that I downloaded the show, because now I could get an email like, hey, we heard on your
Not an
podcast
email.
you admitted it to the world that you
That's so
downloaded
funny.
the show. But so
It was somebody else that looked like you.
here's the thing. Yeah, just as strikingly handsome as I am. But this
No,
morning,
you're better.
this morning my niece got baptized, which was amazing. It was really cool to experience that.
Hmm.
But we went to my mom's church, and because we attend a different church, and so we go to my mom's church, and the pastor is preaching. This is the church where I grew up, and he was talking about this whole instant gratification thing, which is interesting because we had already chosen to talk about this prior to the podcast, but prior to today. But he was talking about, we live in this world of instant everything, and he read 1 Corinthians 13. And a few weeks ago, we talked about love has no labels, and we talked about 1 Corinthians 13 because that Macklemore song keeps saying love is patient, love is kind. But the fact of the matter is, patience is something that we don't have to have in today's culture. We talk about it. You need to be patient with people and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, there's nothing really in our culture that suggests that we need to be patient.
Or that
and,
teaches
and one of the other
prepares
things
for
that it
it.
says about love in 1 Corinthians 13 is that love is not irritable. I find that the more instant things become, the more instant things need to be. I become more and more irritated and more irritable with people. Like right now, I'm actually, as we're talking on this podcast, I'm getting texts from my bosses asking me, where do we stand on this, that, and the other, right? Before, back in the day, it used to be like the weekend, that was it. Like, if you missed it on Friday, you got to talk about it on Monday. But on Saturday and Sunday, I'm getting text messages on times that I should just be able to relax. And
Here's where we stand on it. It's Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. Would that not go over well?
Nope, because
Nope?
what
Okay.
needs to be taken care of needs to be taken care of. It's happening tomorrow. So
Okay.
Instantly, yeah.
I'm able to be gotten a hold of now at this point, and I can't pull away from this instant culture that we live in, whether it be text messages or the ability to get a hold of me on the phone. Like when I was a kid, if you called someone, you called them in their house. Like, is Johnny there? Nope, you just missed Johnny. Like, you catch him next time he's home, right? Now it's like, Johnny's not home. Okay, I'll catch him on his cell. Or not even that. Nobody has a home phone, so you don't even have to call their home, right?
Or
If
you can't reach
just
somebody,
text
you have like 9 missed calls, like from the same person or something crazy.
But how about you guys? Do you guys find yourself being less patient, less kind, less and more irritable in this instant culture? Is that just me? I don't know.
I don't think I find myself being less kind. I'm not particularly patient. I mean, if I call somebody and if I call somebody and they don't pick up, I mean, I'll call again in a half hour. But I mean, I don't know what's normal in that situation. I didn't call them the first time because I didn't need to talk to them. Because I'm not somebody who will call anybody just to say, hey, what's going on? It's because I think there's some important information that needs to be shared. So, yeah, those 9 missed calls are from me.
That's the funny thing. Now even phone calls are only important things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you text somebody. If you can't reach them, I'll just text them what I need.
Yeah, I'll just text them.
Yeah.
And I'd actually, you know what's funny is when text messaging came out, it was 2005. I was in college, 2005, 2006.
I think 4. The first text messages I ever knew of that were sent were in 2004.
Okay. Well, it was back when texting was expensive, right? And you had the T9 and everything like that. And
right.
If you wanted to do the letter S, you better press that button 4 times, right?
Yep.
And so I remember my mom texting me, or not call. She called me, and I was in college, and she said, if you get good grades, I will pay your phone bill. And I was like, hey, I'm a broke college student. That's a great idea.
Sure.
So, she calls me one day and she says, hey, if I got text messaging, would you use it? And this is before the iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before the iPhone came out, or any smartphone for that matter. And I remember saying, text messaging, that's never going to take off.
Okay, and this boy is like, he loves texting.
And now we're in a culture where I would rather text you than talk to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I almost get stressed when I mean, unless it's like my mom or Jen, I almost get stressed when I get a call from someone because I know it's something important at
well,
this time, or something
I get
like drastic has happened.
Right, I get texted most of the time, and if my phone rings and I see that it's somebody I know, instantly, for just call it a 1/5 of a second, it's like, who died?
Yeah, that's my thing.
Right. Yep.
I feel like, if you get a call, it's something terrible has happened, and that is why I'm being called. And here's my mom. Like, my mom, she hasn't changed.
No.
So before text messaging, she would call just to say, I love you. How you doing? Now she calls, I'm like, did Dad die? Is he okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she's calling, no, I'm just calling to say I love you. Oh, well, that's great.
Thank you.
Like, why did you call me at 4 in the afternoon? It's like it's like normal, reasonable hours to call, and like my heart is racing, right? But I just look at this and I'm like, this whole instant culture we live in has changed everything. It's changed how we respond to everything. I don't want to delay gratification. I don't want to, if someone's talking to me or calling me, it's now only an emergency. I can't shut off from work. It's just,
Yeah, there's been like in just recent years a big increase in the amount of people with like anxiety and panic disorders, and I definitely think part of that is not being able to shut the world off. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It would be ironic if we couldn't shut the world off, but we could shut you off.
True. Like, I feel like Calvin and Jen were like just mouthing their words, and I was like, what? So you guys threw me off.
Sometimes we can mute things and talk to each other, so it's
sneaky.
and we don't interrupt the flow. But now you're showing people behind the curtain, Kara.
Oh yeah, but see,
I can't edit
You can't tell about the wizard behind
the
curtain.
Because you don't want the delayed gratification and wait until the end of the podcast to have personal discussion. I see.
Hey, Kara, you're interrupting. You're interrupting our conversation.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I'll be patient.
Meanwhile, if you can see, Kent is texting people
No.
while we're doing this.
No, I just got a Twitter alert. You know what? Honestly, that's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
I can't be bothered with the rest of this podcast. I need to.
I got stuff to do. People need me right now. But no, I do feel that. I feel that lack of patience things on both ends, because I have like one friend in particular that if like if I don't answer my phone or answer my text message right away, it's like Facebook message, phone call, text message, email, again and again and again until I finally get to her, and it drives me crazy. And
You feel like hounded, you know?
yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, obviously, when I have a second, I will call you back. I'm not just like ignoring you. Sometimes I want to because I'm
She's
like, okay.
a person on an emergency you're not going to answer because she does that all the time.
Exactly. But on the other hand, like if I really want to talk to my mom, like yesterday, I was really excited that some of my plants are coming up that I planted, and so I tried to FaceTime my mom, and she didn't answer, so I called her. And then I text her, and then I text my dad, be like, why isn't Mom answering her phone? It's like, so I'm kind of doing the same thing that really annoys me. I guess I don't do that all the time, but it was still like, I need to talk to Mom right now. Like, what is the holdup?
Mm-hmm.
She usually eats dinner with her.
Kara, we've got a very special surprise for you.
Oh.
It's a little awkward, but we've got your friend here on the podcast.
And they're wearing your old Disney uniform.
Yes. That is a joke. I feel, and I don't know if this will be edited out. That is a joke that I feel works great among us. But does anybody remember it from like what's now 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
I don't know.
People definitely like listen to our podcast again and again and again, so they know them like the back of their hand.
All right. This isn't just friends hanging out, speaking off into the ether.
No.
This is for real.
No, but
Okay.
I actually really resemble what you guys have all been saying too, though, and relate to that. I'm a real estate agent by trade, and so I feel like this particular, aspect of culture getting more and more accessible and more reachable all the time, instant gratification, etc., actually makes it very difficult for me in my line of work, and maybe it's less for some people in their lines of work because it could just be their friends and family for some fields, not Cal's obviously and not my own. I have had clients just text me at all different kinds of hours, email, etc., call, and literally my phone goes in spurts, but it could like just blow up, and while you're trying to respond to one client, there's the other one, and they all want you right now, ASAP. And sometimes you're even with another client and you want to give both of them your full attention. And so I can have a really long day and then come home and have to do all of this, follow up constantly back and forth. And I don't mean that as a complaint. I love my job. I love helping, my clients find their perfect home or sell their home and whatever their needs are. But there are times where and Cal is great like this, but there are times where literally it's like crazy late. I've worked all day, and Cal will be like, babe, it's okay. It's time to like close the computer, go to bed, or just it's okay. Like nothing's gonna fall apart. The world's not gonna end if you don't respond to that at 11 o'clock at night or 11:30 at night or whatever hour it is. And I'm thankful for him to remind me. Like sometimes you're so focused and busy and stuff, and you just you have the world that you've got to get it right now before before the shoe drops, right? And you don't want to not give good customer service. You don't want to not do a good job, etc. You don't want to not be a good friend or a good anything, because now things are rated almost on how quickly you respond, right? And it's good to be reminded, yeah, you know what? It's okay to just sometimes unplug and wait. That could wait in the morning. Nothing's going to really change from 11 o'clock till 8 a.m.
I think Mitch Hedberg said this a while ago, and the world has changed since he's passed on. But he talked about going by a dry cleaners at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the sign in the window at the dry cleaner said "closed. Sorry for the inconvenience." And he said, "It is 3 o'clock in the morning, and you are a dry cleaner. I should not expect you to be awake. I should not expect you to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning." But
Right.
We live in this culture where that is kind of the expectation. Even my niece is 10 years old at this point, right? She just had her double-digit, double-digit birthday this year, and she sometimes does not want to go to bed. And my mom will say to her, I'll go over visit, and it's time for her to go to bed, and my mom will say to her, it's time for bed, and she'll, my niece will put up a fight, and she'll say, Mariah, go to bed. You're not going to miss anything. Like, her fear is if she goes to bed, she's going to miss something.
Mm-hmm.
And she lives in this instant gratification world. Like, she knows, like, we all grew up with a Happy Meal, right? Going to McDonald's, getting a Happy Meal. Well, now, you're advertised to in movies. She had this whole chipmunk, the Alvin and the Chipmunks kick when that was a big thing with the movies. And on the bottom of the Happy Meal boxes now, they did this whole promotion with the Chipmunks. And on the bottom of her Happy Meal box, there was a code where she could log into like McDonald's.com or something like that, HappyMeal.com or whatever it is. And so she'd go on the internet and she'd check it out, and they would tell her what the next toy would be.
And the release date.
And so when we were kids, you just, whatever toy you got. And now they tell you what toy is coming so that these kids can anticipate it. Like, they don't have to wait. There's no surprise to it. It's just you. Oh, and she'd say, "Can we go to McDonald's today? It's Monday. The new Chipmunk toy is going to be there." And it's just priming us for this culture that we live in, where it's instant gratification. We know what's coming.
Well, she's never known anything else.
Say again?
She's
yeah,
never
well, true
known
story.
anything
But I told
else.
my boss today, or not today, this past week, I said, I almost feel like being on Facebook, you live in a world of spoilers no matter what. With the news feed in the side of your
Right.
Facebook, it's going to spoil the new movies coming out for you. It's going to give you video, and you can't not click on that and see footage of the new, Batman. It said, Ben Affleck in the new Suicide Squad, right? And so Ben Affleck is in Superman versus Batman, and so it ruined this cameo.
Ben Affleck's in Suicide Squad?
Yeah, so, well, he's playing Batman.
Go to the internet. Okay.
Yeah, and so he has a cameo, right, as Batman. We already know he's Batman, but now this cameo has been ruined by Facebook just by reading the scroll. It's this instant gratification culture. Everybody's got a smartphone, and they're at the set and they're filming, and you don't have to wait for anything.
There's even studies showing that attention spans are actually decreasing. I mean, I know I have to admit, I used to be able to sit through services and everything that were, I'd go to like different retreats. Services would be 4 or 5 hours long, and yeah, you might have your friend there to kind of talk to or whatever. But now it's like, it's even my attention. If I'm not extremely interested in something, I find myself doing a mindless something on my phone or whatever. And I think everybody is guilty of that. But that's a side effect of this.
Yeah. You want to be satiated right now, and so it's hard. I think we don't have a lot of that just downtime. Even, used to like wait for the school bus and you just sit and look at the trees and look at the sky, and now, a kid can be on his phone texting his friends or playing a game or something. We don't know what to do with ourselves with downtime. I even find that with my son already, and this conversation is actually pretty enlightening to me to make a few changes. But, if he wants to watch Thomas the Tank Engine, and Thomas the Tank Engine isn't on, I tell him, sorry, Thomas isn't on right now, and like temper tantrum, oh my gosh, my world's gonna end. And so I'm like, looking on demand and see Netflix, what can I find? Because the boy wants to watch Thomas, and I gotta provide Thomas. And I guess just thinking about it now, like that is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, once in a while, but there is a problem with him not being able to accept that we might have to wait a little bit, and that's okay.
Right.
The train's not here yet.
Yeah.
Kara, I have a 4-year-old niece that I would like to convince that Caillou is not on right now. Can I call you? Because
Caillou is always on Netflix, though.
That's the problem. Yes, I know. By the way, I just wanted to give you guys an update. When you told me about when you told us a few seconds ago about the Ben Affleck cameo, which, I mean, I am aware of the Suicide Squad movie, but I hadn't been following it with any great depth, and you said that he was in it, so I leaned over here to my desktop and opened a Google tab, and anybody who's savvy enough to download this podcast knows how Google instant results work. That, I mean, it gets results, if you have a good broadband connection, it gets results as you type the words. And let me just tell you, Ben Affleck Suicide Squad brings up a decidedly different set of results than Ben Affleck Suicide. It's a whole different set of websites.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
We'll end right there. We need to get to the
Okay.
next podcast.
All right.
Wait, Jen wants to say something, so I won't say
Okay.
that. Things. I'll edit that out.
Kara, I just wanted to say, I think that your point is really good. Like, speaking of waiting at the bus stop, I think that what used to be really natural for us to just take in, now we have to it's switched to where we have to do that intentionally. We have to unplug, or we have to plan to go outside and just be a part of this world and nature, and not be plugged in or have, this instant need and gratification. We have to choose to take the long route. And I think that that's really interesting, that we went from what was natural to now has to be planned or intentional to be there, or it's void.
I think there's value, and maybe we haven't really touched on this altogether, but there's value in delayed gratification. Like, there's nothing wrong with having things that you're excited about and maybe watching spoilers or downloading a movie before it comes out. But just in general, I think it's good to take note of yourself. And if you are just jonesing so much for some more Vampire Diary that you're just shaking, then maybe you need to chill.
Right, it's like to be aware of yourself, right?
I'm speaking to myself to just relax. It's gonna be okay. That I don't need to have it right now.
It's not gonna be okay, Kara. You need to watch the next episode.
Get away from me, Satan.
I will take whatever abuse is coming my way for having seen every episode of Glee, but I've never shook with anticipation. I'm just. Go ahead.
I would say I literally bawled into my husband's arms in the last episode, and I said I'm so depressed.
Okay.
That's so funny. Okay, we're ending.
Yeah.
I'll call back in 4 minutes.
Okay.
4. Okay, got it.
Yes, 5 minutes.